Hello, and welcome to Teens Talk. I'm your host, your co-host actually, Merlene Clark, and
Sharice Burrow. And together we look forward to engaging in a meaningful discussion with high school students attending various school districts from the greater Hartford area about the pros and cons, high points, downfalls, challenges, and inspirational pivots of their education experience.
the actual topic for tonight's Let's Talk, Teen Talk, is education. And before we get started, we like to do some thank yous. First, to the sponsors of this show, the Greater Hartford Alliance of Black School Educators, who allowed us to come out this evening and share our experiences, our thoughts, our opinions, and our suggestions about education. The mission for the Black educators are basically twofold, and we're doing just that. One is to promote and facilitate forums for young people to be able to share a platform where they can share their voices and opinions about education. And we're doing just that today. The other is to create a forum where young people can exchange their ideas with other young people throughout the state of Connecticut. So what we have tonight is a diverse group of young people who you'll soon get to meet.
We also want to thank Hartford Public Access TV for welcoming us into their studio and providing the expertise and technology to produce the show.
So tonight we have 5 young people joining us, and we'll let you introduce yourselves.
But before we have our high school students introduce themselves, to avoid those listening from getting distracted and focusing on a particular school district or a particular school, we'd like each of you to say your first name, your grade, along with your academic and career plans in post-high school graduation.
Hi, I'm Jordan Wright, and I am a senior in high school. I'm 17 years old, and I plan on probably going to college for communications.
Okay. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, my name is Jayla. I'm a graduating senior. I plan on going to Clark Atlanta. I plan on majoring in cybersecurity, and my minor would be computer science.
My name is Zanai. I'm 17 and I'm an upcoming senior. And my plan after high school is to double major in music and either psychology or biology.
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm an upcoming junior, and my plan after high school is to major in criminology or forensic science.
Hi, my name is Zanaya. I'm an upcoming junior, and after high school, I would like to major in business and cosmetology.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So let's see, we have 2 juniors, 2 seniors, and a graduate of high school. And that's you, right, Miss Jayla? Yes. Congratulations. We got to give you your props. How does it feel?
It feels good. It feels like a new start.
Absolutely. And what school did you say you're going to?
I'm going to Clark Atlanta University.
Oh,
It's in Atlanta, Georgia.
wonderful. Each of you have your own journey that you're wanting to partake of in terms of your careers, and we wish you well with your goals and your journey. I think before we get started, we can share with the audience how we met. Back in April, wasn't it?
Yep.
We had an opportunity to come together where each of you came forward and expressed the interest in joining and participating in the Union Baptist Church of Hartford's historically Black college and university tour. Y'all remember that? April seems like a long time ago. Yeah. As the co-director of that ministry, and knowing that was our 31st year providing the tour to young people in the greater Hartford area. I was just so happy after COVID to start it again. Even though it was way back in April, can you just kind of share some of your experiences and the impact that that whole 9-day experience, which was the trip, but prior to that, we started meeting in December, correct? So the whole process was about 6 months. Share some of your experiences with the Historically Black College and University tour. How was it?
So for me personally, I think the tour was like an eye opener for me, because like before I wasn't really big on like school, and I didn't really know if school was for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I really got out there and got exposed to what like campus life is like and like what school is really about, it like really opened my eyes and made me see like school might actually be for me. So yeah.
Cool. Anybody else?
For me, going on a college tour, I was given like throughout my life, I thought that all HBCUs were very similar and gave the same opportunities. And I learned going on this trip that they're all different and they have different cultures and offer different things.
Good point. We're a diverse group of people. And you got a chance to see that. People from all different countries at HBCUs, all different nationalities. And it's great that you picked that up. At each school, did you notice that each school had its own personality?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to share something about that?
On the college tour, when we went to visit the different colleges and campuses, something I did pick up on was the different environments and like the different personalities of like the colleges and like how the students accommodated throughout the like their different like groups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really cool to see, because I'm used to like just being in high school, being around the same people. So going and seeing like how different people like were around in different colleges, it was just like nice to see that you can just like easily get used to that. So
How about you, ma'am?
I don't think I have anything to say. Going on the campuses, it showed me what I actually wanted in a college.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to go for music, it was put in my mind that a lot of colleges had to be big or had to be in like big cities, but by going to the colleges, I realized that I don't have to. I can go to a college with a smaller campus that's like more suburban, but they still offer good music programs and will still help me with my career in music.
Well, that's pretty cool. That encourages us on the committee for doing the college tour to continue doing it, because what you're telling me is that being able to have that experience and actually visit the college campuses and see the different personalities and what they have to offer, it's a better opportunity for you to match the school that meets your needs. So thanks for encouraging me. After 31 years, sometimes you say, you know what, forget it. But you're saying that's important, so thanks for that. One thing that we all have in common, Ms. Cherise, with these young people is that we all are still involved in a school environment. You guys as students, you as a graduate of high school, and we as employees in the school system. And that's a bond that we share, because tell me if you agree. If you're not in the school environment, you really don't know how it is on a day-to-day basis to function in a school environment. Would you agree? That if you're not in it, you really just don't have a clue as to, one, how stressful a school environment is. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. Because like I see like people talking about how certain schools are, but if you actually go to the school, then it's like a whole different experience and a whole different perspective on what the school is really like.
So what about school stereotypes and school reputations? We didn't mention what school you go to, but I can say that some of you do attend public schools, some of you magnet schools, some schools of choice, and it gives you a flavor and an idea of probably a variety of different stereotypes and reputations your school has. Would you say that a school's reputation can impact how you feel about your particular school, yourself, and how motivated you are being involved in getting an education at that school?
Yeah, it's very. I'll go and tell a little story. It's quick. But,
Okay.
before I went to high school, 8th grade graduation, everybody was talking about what school they were going to go to, and I had said my school, and I just got flooded with comments about how the school is so bad and this and that and how it's just terrible. And so it really like changed my mind about how I viewed the school before I even got there. So I feel like it's definitely like stereotypes about certain schools, and that it definitely changes like people's minds on what school they even want to go to before they even go there.
Good point. Anybody else? If you look at your school's reputation and your environment.
Jordan brings up a good point about school and the reputation behind each school. How do you guys feel like that also applies to when you were looking at colleges or when you went on the HBCU tour and you might have heard certain things beforehand and then versus being on the actual campus? Do you feel like it's important to look at like a school's reviews and keep that in consideration, or would you advise to other people that you should go on campus and see for yourself?
I would advise that people should go on campus and have their own tour of it, because when we went on the college tour, I already had like made up my mind on like schools I was going to look at, and I really didn't want to like certain schools, but I ended up like picking some schools as my top 3 that I didn't expect, and going on like the tour really changed my perspective on like how the colleges were viewed and like how people would talk about how they would want to go to certain colleges for certain activities and just to like experience certain things that they hear about like online. But going there and seeing like the education it could provide and like all the different opportunities, it was like really worth it.
You wanted to say something? So when you came back to reality, what was the big difference that you noticed from being on the college tour, those campuses, and the day-to-day happenings at your school? Let's start with, without you exposing your school, but what's the reputation of your schools?
My reputation for my school is not the greatest, but it's like...
I can't hear you up.
I said the reputation for my school isn't the greatest, but it's like the stereotypes are correct, so I can't even argue it, but like, I feel like they make it that way. Like, it doesn't have to be that way, but the people in the school make it that way.
So you're saying the people have the power to determine what
goes on
the
in
school
their
environment
community.
is?
Yes.
Okay, and do y'all agree with her? The people in the school have the power to determine the environment and the culture of the school. Y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are the people?
The students, the
Students?
staff, people that go to the school, people that make the community of the school.
Okay.
It might not be everybody, but when it's majority of the people, then it determines.
So students, staff, anybody else play a role in determining what the environment of the school is and what your school culture is?
The community and the parents.
Okay.
Yeah, where the kids are coming from.
So parenting, educators, students themselves. Anybody else? Oh, you said the community?
So do you feel like then the location of a school, does that play a role as well on the reputation, how the school environment is? Does it matter where a school is located?
It has a big impact on where you're located, like throughout your school district, because I'm in a secluded area, and like not like a lot of people, not like people go there, but it's not as like packed as like other school districts. But my school's reputation is not horrible, but it's like known for a few things, but they're not all bad. Like we're known for some good things too. So knowing about my history of my school, it has its impacts, like negative and positive. But I do think the location plays a big role, and also just like how upcoming generations treat the school, because in the past it could have been like different, like the neighborhood, the school, and everything. But like now, because of like just new things that's happening around the world today, I think that like has an impact.
Okay. So this is what I hear often. If you go to an inner city school versus a suburban school, the chances of you getting an equal, fair, and decent education is decreased. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
I,
Because you wanna go?
there you go.
Both of y'all can go. You go first. Yep.
A lot of people come to my school because my school is known for sports, and I feel like I know people who have came to my school for opportunities with sports and just better learning environment and community.
So, based on what you're going to say and what you other guys are thinking, would you say that inner city schools have less opportunities for extracurricular activities like sports, or are resources different? What have you experienced or what have you heard about inner city schools versus suburban and rural schools?
I don't think it matters like if you're like in suburban or inner city. I just feel like it's the environment that the school is in general.
So how is your environment in terms of classrooms? Honestly,
It's not the best. It's
What is-
actually terrible. Like
what does that mean?
Like it's like if you're okay, I'm an honor student, so I'm not in the class.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm an honor student, so I'm not in like the classes with the kids that misbehave and stuff. I'm in the class with the little bit of kids that listen, so I don't have to be around, all of that. But like when I first started school, I was in regular classes, so it's like it's so much going on. You can't pay attention to anything but the scene they're making. You get what I'm saying? Like it's so many scenes. You can't pay attention to learning.
So I guess what she's talking about is like in a classroom, any given classroom, and I guess we talking about the majority of the classroom, since you're saying you belong to a small set in the honors section. But are there a lot of distractions, negative distractions that
Yes,
often
even when
occur
you're not in class,
classrooms?
there are negative distractions like
So-
lunch, walking in the hallway. It's just too much going on.
Can you guys kind of label what some of the negative distractions might be?
I could talk about something when I was going to my fourth period class, and you get a 5-minute break before you have to go to your class. So I was just sitting out in the hallway just observing, and I see kids running down the hall with paper towels full of water, just throwing it at each other. And I'm like, is this a school that I'm a part of? And it really made me think, like, why do I go here, and like, am I just like these other kids? Well, I know I'm not, but it's just like, this is the environment I have to go to school in, where kids run and throw paper balls of water at each other like it's recess.
Mm.
Or like disrespecting teachers, them having to yell 20 times to get out the bathroom and it's already been 10 minutes and you only get 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, just simple stuff that it's not hard to follow directions to. They just don't want to.
What about you guys?
I feel like my school is very big and like good on disciplinary actions. So our classrooms, you're always gonna have like that one class where you have like people goofing around and stuff. But I feel like the classes in my school is pretty well structured and like you know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And even if you choose like not to follow directions, there's obviously consequences. So I feel like my classes aren't that like, they don't cause that much problems. They're pretty like regular classes. You're just gonna have that one class or that one like person that you're gonna hear and like see get in trouble and stuff. But I feel like that's just a part of like high school. Like you're gonna witness that.
Yeah, I feel like my school is pretty big on keeping the kids in their places, like letting them know what's good for them. Like the upbringing, I feel, is very good in our school. Like they make sure that the kids know what's going to get them places and what's not going to benefit them in long term.
My school is, I would say they also are pretty big on disciplinary actions. All of my classes, they're pretty like, you just go to class, do your work, and then go to your next class. There's nothing that really happens in the classes. But there are people like that, they're not in my class, but they're in the school that we all, like everybody knows that they always do stuff that they're not supposed to do, or they act a certain way, and it's like it's the same certain people. But again, like how she said before, it's just like in the high school environment, it's always going to be a group of people or one person that's going to act a certain way.
So you guys kind of answered one of the next questions that we had. I hear you saying that schools are responsible and the school staff are responsible for making sure that the students clearly understand what the expectations are. That was one that I heard from all of you. The other is, and there's consistency with the consequences that are given to students if they make a choice to not follow the rules and the expectations, right? Okay. So at the end of the day, when you named all these people, the student, the parents, the staff, the community, at the end of the day, who has the final say as far as how the school environment is on a day-to-day basis? Who makes that final call?
I feel like the only person that can make that final call is you, because I feel like we're in high school. If you have a okay or the right upcoming, you can, and even if you don't, I feel like you can block out the negative things and make positive for yourself in whatever environment you're in.
I feel like the students have like the last say, because you're around, like, you have your friend group, you're around the same people for a part of your life, and I feel like it's really up to you, or like everyone, to decide whether or not they want to have a good high school experience or like have a bad one. And every choice, like, has a consequence, and that's like really drilled into our heads in my school. So
And that's that consistency.
Yeah, it's really consistent.
Okay.
Like everybody knows, if you do this, this is gonna happen. Like there's always like choice to your there's always a consequence to your choice. So that could be good or bad. It just depends on what you want to do.
So you feel that the consequences that's dished out, it's done fairly It's not favoritism. It's just across the board.
I feel like it really depends on the student and their history of what they do in the school, because I've seen some unfair consequences be given, but I know that the person's history in the school makes the staff think that they need to like do that because of what they're known for doing. So I feel like depending on the mark you leave in your school is gonna have a really big impact on you. And like a lot of my teachers and like the people just like in my school, they really like help me like, you know, see that, and they really like they want to know, they just want to help. They really, at the end of the day, they just want to help the students, even though it seems like they don't want to and they do like a lot of unfair stuff. It's just like for our own benefit, because like in the real world it won't be like that. It won't be just like a, oh, here's a detention, or oh, here's suspended. Like it'll be more serious. So I feel like it's all for a reason.
So now you've moved into, Ms. Sharice moved into relationships, and relationships with not just your teachers, but your educators. How important to you is your relationship with the people who are your teachers and your educators? Does that make a difference to you? And what should that relationship be like?
I think having a relationship with your educator or teacher is like very important. I think when a lot of people just don't try to make a connection with their teacher, they just think of it as they're just grading my paper or grading my assignment. And sometimes if you don't get like a good grade on it, you might think of it as, oh, they're just being mean or a hater. They're not thinking of it as they're trying to see my full potential. I feel like when you actually build a connection with the teacher as well, like you see some things from their perspective, so like how they operate their classroom. So some things you might not agree with, but you're like, oh, I understand why they do certain things. So
you talked a lot about the visual and images that you saw in the HBCU tour. Does it make a difference when you're educated and have an opportunity to be taught, as well as exposed to people that look just like you in your educational experience and journey?
I think it's very important. When you see people that look like you in a field that maybe you want to, that you're interested in, it could give you motivation to keep pursuing that career. Because I feel like a lot of careers paths that the people that look like us are in, there's not a lot of us in that type of field. So when you see people that you kind of like look up to in that field, it gives you that motivation to keep going and keep trying to push yourself to do these things to get there.
And so I wanted to backtrack for a minute, Ms. Clark.
Okay.
And you three ladies kind of discussed how your schools are doing a pretty good job at, kind of handing out consequences when a student does something wrong. But for Jordan and Jayla specifically, what are some specific ways or things that you think your school can do better in, or, what can they implement to make the school environment much better for their students?
To be honest, I've been going there for so long, and it's just like it gets worse by the year. It's like they give the consequence, but they don't stand on it, Like they give it, and it's just like whatever they do after that, oh well, kind of thing. So I feel like you really have to like hold your ground with the kids at my school.
Yeah,
Good point.
I feel like there are disciplinary action and consequences for the things you do in school if you get in trouble, but I feel like the kids just aren't really that much caring about getting in trouble, because they know that at the end of the day they're gonna be back in school. And some kids in school, most kids in school, don't have the willpower or the what's the word for it? they don't have the learning mindset. So when they get to school, they're not thinking about doing school, and some of them don't even plan on going to college or their future. They're planning on doing other things, and so them getting in trouble in school is really like not a big deal to them.
And then just a follow-up question to both of you again, like what makes you kind of stand out in that type of environment where you're not impacted by all of that that's going on around you?
Really, I just try to stay out of the way and like don't fall into the certain things that go on in my school, and just be on top of my schoolwork and being seen as like, I wouldn't say like a good person, but seen as like one of the good students and one of the students who just is about his business to teachers and staff members and things like that.
Yeah. Jayla, what makes you stand out?
I feel like at my school, having a good image is important because it makes you stand out, because you're not like the rest of the kids. So I feel like when you're the person that stands out, you're like, I don't know, you gave yourself better opportunities than the other kids. Like, I did stuff in my school that I never expected because of the way the kids act. Like, it's like, wow, I worked so hard to get here. I didn't know I could do this for it. I'm glad I did, instead of going down the wrong path like the others.
So that comes from within, right? Do you guys agree that it's important for you, all of you, all of us, to determine our self-worth and how we want to present ourselves? Is that important to all of you? Not so much how other people perceive you, but the goals and the dreams that you have for yourself. Do you think that's important for you to carry yourself in the way that represents that?
Yes, I think it's important to always be a leader and not a follower. Who cares what anybody thinks about you, because you know yourself. So,
what do you guys think?
I think it's important to also like hold yourself to a standard that you want, because everybody else around you isn't gonna have to live the life that you're setting for yourself. You yourself are gonna have to walk the path that you're setting for yourself and see the end goal that you're making for yourself. Nobody else is gonna, either they're not gonna see it or they're not living the same life as you. So you being in control of how you want to be perceived, how you hold yourself to a certain standard, is very important to see yourself be successful and see yourself where you want to see yourself in a couple of years from now, or maybe a few days, few months.
Is that difficult, you guys? To maintain that standard, knowing that there's always going to be distractions in schools and the community. Is it difficult to keep hold of that goal that you have for yourself? I know it's difficult, was difficult for me when I was in school, and sometimes still difficult at the age that I am now, because there's so many distractions, so much negativity going on, where people are constantly trying to pull you away from what your goal is for life. So I'm throwing it at you guys. How difficult is that for you guys to keep your image and your dreams alive and to do the work so that you can achieve those? Yes, ma'am.
I feel like it's very difficult, like if you don't have a good community to help you, and even personal things like what could be going on at home, like you're not motivated because you feel like everything's maybe not going right. But going on an HBCU college tour, I was actually very motivated, like, because seeing people who look like me and where they are and they're being successful in life, I knew where I wanted to be. So I just feel like if I keep thinking about, oh, I want to be here in the next 5-10 years, I'm going to do what I have to do now. Because I learned a lot, like, on the HBCU tour. I learned, like, there are strong standards, and they're not going to, all the time, give it to you easy to get there.
I don't think it's difficult. I feel like if you want something, you're gonna go to get it. If you want it bad enough, you're gonna go. If you're just saying stuff like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do this," and never do it, you don't really want it. You know what I'm saying? You have to put in the work and do it for yourself, not for everybody else.
So it's the dream, the desire, it's the thought, but most importantly, it's the action.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Mhm.
You gonna elaborate?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like it could be difficult if you let certain things get to you, like how your friends perceive you or how your family does. But at the end of the day, it's your life and it's your future. Nobody looks through the lens of your eyes, and nobody lives your life how you live it because it's yours. So I feel like if you just have tunnel vision and honestly don't care about what your friends say or what your friends want to do, that you could really just make it a lot easier for yourself, knowing that you're happy with what you're doing and that you're not going to let anybody stop you from achieving what you want to achieve.
I actually would like to add on to what he said. I think friends have like, a really big impact on how you do in high school and like who you're around and like your choices. And I feel like, personally, the people in my school, like the staff and like the teachers and stuff, they like a big lesson that I learned during my sophomore year was how the people you hang around affect you. And I feel like throughout high school, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna meet your different friend groups and stuff, but you shouldn't let your friends and like who they are let that be an excuse on what you do. Like, you can still be friends with people that may not always make the best decisions, but like know when to separate yourself and when to like
Excellent point.
be selfish and like do what's best for you. And I feel like that like really has a huge impact on students today. Like, some may like get like too into the whole friend group stuff and like wanting to fit in with their friends and like caring about what other people think. So some may not like see what like really matters, and like how at the end of the day you need to be able to be there for yourself and like make those right decisions, even though you're not around people who might not want to do the same. And also
Boundaries, huh?
yeah,
Setting your boundaries.
yeah, boundaries, and like having the same goals as your friends too, because if they don't have like the same goals and like the same morals, that may have a huge impact on like how you like feel about them and how you how you want to be around them and stuff. So
I love the way that you guys are giving examples of the power that you have inside of yourself to determine what your outcome is going to be. You talked about you had the power to determine who your friends are. And it's important to have like-minded friends who perhaps have the same goals, who may have the same type of strategies and experiences that you do, so that you guys can support each other. Do you believe, because I truly believe that none of us make it alone and by ourselves. In my experience, I don't know about, in any human being's experience, we have to have someone that we can say has our back and supports us and keeps us going through life challenges, and even during the good times to kind of keep us reined in. Who do you guys have to support you in this educational and career journey that you have? Do you have anyone in your lives that helped you? Because we've all gotten crazy at certain times, right? So who do you have? Yes, ma'am.
The one person I can really say is definitely my mom. My mom, she's the one that really got me doing what I love doing most. I'm gonna say that because I've always known what I wanted to do, but she pushed me to keep doing it, even if I was like, oh no, it's just too hard, I'm gonna stop. She was like, no, you gotta keep doing it, because like you have to force yourself so you can get better at it, so you can actually find your love for it and find all the desire for it. And now I want to go to college for it. So even with my education too, she's always told me to, you know, do this assignment or ask for extra help or extra work from a teacher if she sees my potential in a certain class. And even though I don't want to do it, she just tells me to keep going. And when I actually do it, then I find like, oh, this wasn't so hard, or now I'm gonna have a better time in that class because I went and I asked like my mother told me.
So parents are important.
Definitely.
Anybody else want to say who they have?
I would probably say my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
She's a Howard alumni. Go Bisons.
She's a what?
Howard alumni.
Oh, okay. HU?
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, but she's been a big inspiration for me. Ever since she went to college, I always wanted to go to college. Probably not Howard, but I always wanted to go to HBCU. After she got out of college, she just shared her experience. It really opened my eyes, and then I was able to actually experience the tour myself. That was a great thing, great experience. I always been prepared for like, not prepared, but like I was always ready for like college and excited to go, you know, ready to get out of high school. So it's like the experience just made it like 10 times better. Now I'm prepared. You get what I'm saying?
So
I got
you
to see
have a
beforehand.
parent, a mother, you have an aunt who advocates for you, who pushes you,
Yes.
right? Do
All
you
the time.
feel that they also have your back and will advocate for you if they need to go to the school?
Yes, I believe so. I know so, actually.
Okay, because that's important, because I hear often that, especially young people when you're in high school, parents kind of back off, especially students who are doing, and you and I have had this conversation, students who are doing well and, you know, they're cool kids, they can work independently. Sometimes parents make the mistake of saying, oh, they're fine, they're good, and they don't get involved with their kids. And what I'm hearing from young people is that I'm good, but I still need my mom, my dad, or parent to come to my activities and be there to encourage me and lift me up. Do you think that even in high school, being seniors and juniors is important for your parent or family member to be still involved to encourage you?
Or even
Yes.
as Jayla goes off to college.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Do you think it's still important, or you feel
I think
that
it's important because
Okay.
the support that you get leads up to the support that you'll get when you're in college. So it's always important because that's where it starts. It starts in high school and then it ends off in college.
Okay. Anybody else?
Personally, I feel like just to backtrack, I think my my biggest advocate would be my mother. She really like taught me how I need to like invest in myself, and like, you know, like some like going to college, like, you know, that's gonna be time and like, you know, money and stuff, but if you feel like you're worth it, you'll give all the money and like the time you want for yourself to know like that at the end of the day you're gonna be something and you're gonna be successful. And I feel like my mom really like taught me how to like, you know, have that type of faith in myself. And I also feel like just like having like, you know, somebody you could like turn to like about how what to do in high school and like, you know, your problems and stuff, it has its benefits, because, you know, I talked to my mom about like anything, so like that's like really beneficial for me. And I feel like that has like a lot to do with like, you know, where I am and what I do today, because if it wasn't like for her and like the standard and like the path she helped set for me, then I could have been somewhere else. I'm just grateful.
So all of you guys agree with what the last three people said in terms of support systems and how important it is?
Yeah, I think support systems is a really big thing. But for me personally, like, so to backtrack, like, before, my big brother, he's like probably like my biggest advocate. I feel like my brother is the perfect role model.
Wow, what a compliment.
Because like he's 7 years older than me, so it's like he went through the stages of life when I was at the bottom stages. So he already went through everything, and he always like instilled in me that like to not be a follower and to, you know, always make sure you doing the right thing. And like it's good to have friends, but you know, be about your business and always do the right thing. And so, you know, he's on the right track and stuff. So I really just look up to him, and we always told each other that we're gonna have to get rich together. So yeah. And but so for the support system thing, I feel like I always have the support, but I don't really need it. I just know I always have it like in the back. Like if I need support, I could always call on my family, my mom, my great grandmother, my grandmother, anybody in my family I could call for support. But I feel like they brought me up so much, and they instill so much power in me that I don't personally need the support.
Instilled so much power
Yeah.
in you. What does that look like? Because we have so many people in the community and in our schools talking about how we contribute to who you become in terms of your character and your academic performance. Who do you, even if you don't know them, who are these key people that you believe have some control over or influence over how you do in terms of your school experience or your college experience? Talked about family, that's immediate, right?
Yeah.
You talked about teachers, that's a day-to-day thing, and educators. You talked about how important it is for you to at least have some opportunity to be taught and exposed to folks that look just like you in your educational journey. What about politicians? What about people in city government that make decisions about how much money is poured into your schools? And how does the money and where you live connect to the resources that's available and opportunities that's available to you guys?
Yeah, I definitely think that plays a big part in my school. Like the money thing, for example, like my school doesn't have really all the funds that they need right now for like the certain like art classes and things like that, where teachers have to come out of their own pocket to get things for students. And I think that's really sad that other schools or other districts have the money and have the programs and stuff, and teachers don't have to come out of their own pocket, and they have these amazing programs, and that teachers here have to, you know, scrap money just for their kids to have a good learning experience. And like there's certain programs that we were doing in the beginning of the year that we had to stop doing because they couldn't pay for it. So yeah.
As we're talking about resources at your schools, how prepared do you feel, and everyone can answer this question, the high school that you currently attend, or Jayla, the high school that you used to go to, how do you feel with that high school, and how prepared for college?
How they helped prepare for college?
I feel like my school didn't really help me prepare for college. I feel like I had to do it on my own, but like there were teachers and educators that, you know, were there to support me, but like I feel like the environment I was in, I had to choose myself only, like not listen to what everybody said and get advice from like my aunt and stuff. For somebody that, you know, experienced college, went to college, knows exactly what's gonna happen.
Is that the way it should be, you guys?
It shouldn't be like that, but in my school it is.
Where the school, you didn't feel prepared you, but there were certain relationships that you had with educators that supported you in some type of way?
Yeah.
Okay.
In one of my schools, their main priority is getting their students ready to go to college. So we have, anybody can make a meeting with their guidance counselor to talk about what they want to do in college, what they're going to need. My guidance counselor, she even gives out list of colleges that she thinks would be a good fit for you. She looks up where you want to go, whether it be on the East Coast, far from home, close to home, how like financial aid and stuff. So they give us, and even in the curriculum, and they tell you certain things that people are going to be looking for when you go to college, or if you need to audition for something, they tell you all of that stuff.
And that's helpful. You wanted to say something?
My school, the way they help us prepare for college is when we're doing assignments and stuff, I feel like, and they even put it in the curriculum, that we have deadlines, and they are pretty strong on those deadlines. And even on the way we act, they have to they give us pretty strict ways that they feel like we need for college.
I'm kind of laughing because often I hear young people in high school saying, adults are just too much. We're okay. But as I listen to you guys are really making the point that even though we may not want you in our stuff all the time, it's important that you provide the structure and the experiences to help prepare us for the next step in life, right? And that's kind of the way it should be. I'm thinking about each of you that say, I have someone that supports me and keeps me going. Would you say, if you looked at, say, your school in general, would you say that the majority of the kids, from your knowledge and what you see, are not alone in this journey and they do have someone to help them? Because I think I worry about that student that doesn't have the support system that you guys are talking about.
Based on my perspective, I wouldn't really comment on anybody else's life because you never know what they have at home and what goes on behind closed doors. So whether they have somebody to support them or not, I wouldn't be able to say. But I know for myself that I do, and I know that it shows in different ways on who has what type of support outside of school and just at home and stuff. And it has an effect on people, different types of effects, and you will see it throughout beyond high school, throughout life and college and stuff like that. You'll see it in different places.
But you would all agree that each of us need to have some kind of support system in order to make it, knowing that someone has our back to step in when we need it. Would you say that that's a common denominator for anyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say yes but no, because there's some people that do it on their own. So I feel like it just depends on the type of person you are. There's some people that don't need anybody, and then there's other people that need just one person, or it's other people that need a million people. So so it just depends on who you are, really.
So let's talk about phones, you guys. The pros and cons of having phones in schools. What you think about that?
The pros and cons. The pros and cons. So in my school, we actually have yonder pouches, and yonder pouches are a little thing where you put your phone into a case and it locks up your phone for the entire day. So you don't have the access to your phone throughout your classes. And so I feel like that really, I feel like me personally, it benefited my learning because before, I would get easily distracted by my phone. And I feel like if I wanted to not do work, I could just go on my phone. I could just get easily distracted by that. But now, since I don't have access to my phone, I'm more likely to just, let me just see what this teacher's talking about. Let me just do this work. Just because it's sitting right there in front of me, I don't have anything else better to do. I can't go on my phone and watch YouTube or text my friends or things like that. So I feel like with phones in school, there is benefits to having your phone. Like some kids definitely use their phones or like laptops or iPads, like devices like that, to do their schoolwork. I know kids like that, but most times they just cause distractions. So yeah.
I would probably say that I had yonder pouches too. We went to the same school.
Can't hear you.
I said I had yonder pouches too, but after a while, first of all, my school is crazy. The first week we got yonder pouches, they were banging them on everything to open them.
Oh.
Like they was like, it's like, you see what I'm saying? Like they try to put the discipline there, but they don't stand on it. So it's like after everybody's opening their yonder pouches, they don't really care about it no more. They'll still check it by the door, but like if you get in with it, then they're not really worried. But like if they see it, they'll say something, but it's not really like stamped hard discipline. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So definitely school staff needs to follow through
But
with
it's like,
consequences.
but it's also like, I feel like it depends on the type of person you are, once again, because I feel like I can stay off my phone at school. Because I'm at school. I'm ready to learn. Like, even if I don't want to be there, I still know I have to do my work at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
So are phones, for the majority of people, you think, a distraction to your learning environment?
Yes.
I
What do you
feel
say?
like phones can be distracting anywhere. And at my school, like we have like, we have a phone policy. Like if they see it out, they'll warn you the first time.
Okay.
Second time they'll take it away and bag and tag it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like at the end of the day, it's your education. And I feel like later in life, when you go to work, they're not gonna have a phone policy and like put your phone away up during work and like, you won't be able to have access to it. I feel like at the end of the day, you have to like learn that responsibility on when you cannot be on your phone. And I think that, at my school, they really help us. I feel like they really help us prepare for more like life than just like college. I feel like they just give us like the basic aspects that we need in life, and like they're really big on responsibility and like help us learn like what we need to do in life. And I feel like that has like a good impact. And I feel like the phone policy, it's we're teenagers, so like, obviously we're gonna like some of us are gonna want to learn and like want to do all that stuff, but we're gonna have our like temptations. But it's just up to you if you want to like engage or not. So
Okay. Two different opinions, and I'm sure that if we asked each of you, you'd have a pro and con for phones in the classrooms and in the school, correct? We've almost been talking for an hour. Did it seem that long? No. What do you think about the experience of young people coming together and sharing your experiences and opinions?
I think it's great that we're all coming together, to share our voices, share our experience with other kids, because a lot of kids don't do stuff like this, So it's good to start.
I think this was a good experience to hear everybody else's opinions, because I've heard different opinions that I didn't even think about, or that I wouldn't say, or that I haven't even, or experience that I haven't even had. So it's good to see what everybody is going through, because we're not that far from each other. Like we're all in the same state, in the same kind of community. Like we all are in high school, so it's good to hear what everybody is going through and not just yourself.
Okay, and if you had the ideal situation as we're wrapping up, or even if you thought about, now that you guys are seniors and upperclassmen, i.e. juniors, what would your junior self or your senior self say to your middle school self or your freshman self about how to treat this whole educational experience? Now that you're older and experienced some stuff, what would you tell?
myself
younger self?
now, and then myself back then, like the stuff I did back then, I would never think to do now.
You what?
The stuff I did back then, I would never think to do now.
Okay.
Like, I feel like the stuff I was doing was like kind of immature, and I'm more mature now. I'm probably not at the full potential of mature, but like way more mature than I used to be.
Okay. Who else?
I would tell my middle school self to really pay attention to myself and focus on what I want to do. Because I'm not going to lie, when I was in middle school, I was a follower. And I wanted to fit in a lot. So now I would tell my younger self that I don't have to do all that just to have an image that everybody else is seeing. Like, I have to focus on myself because I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
At all.
This is completely off topic, but in my personal opinion, I feel like every good leader was like once a follower. I don't think being like growing up and being a follower should be like looked down upon and like shamed about. Like, you know, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna see things, you're gonna make mistakes and stuff, but I feel like you learn from that, and as you get older and wiser, you become the type of leader you want to be, and that could be good. You know, you have to start somewhere, and that may be as a follower, but I feel like the outcome is, you know,
You can learn from every experience.
Yes, you can learn from anything, whether that be good or bad.
And the point that you also made, Kayla, was that it's important to have people around you that's there to pull you back in if you go too far astray.
Right.
Right? Okay.
And
Good point.
so we've discussed a lot of pros and cons about our high schools and about education in general, technology. So where do you guys see the education in 10 years? And that's a broad question. So, I mean, do you see our schools, embracing technology more? Maybe there's no more phone pouches, or just throw some ideas out there. Where do you see our education?
Where would you like to see it? Yeah.
I definitely see in the future there going to be way more schools with yonder pouches in place, because that's definitely, they're doing it now. Like, I feel like my school was the first, and there's a couple other schools that's now implementing them into their everyday school life or whatever. But I don't know. I hope in the next years that we definitely have somebody who could, maybe donate some money to the less fortunate schools out there,
Wow.
so that we could, strive just as much as the other schools who are more do reap more benefits than
Good
some
point.
other schools.
10 years from now, you guys will be the leaders or on your way somewhere, right? What else about education will be going on in 10 years?
I feel like in 10 years, well, I hope that the schools that have like the better reputations help out the schools that don't have the most.
Okay.
Like give them away, like principal to principal type of thing, like how can you help my school, how can I help yours, work together, make a community instead of making one separate communities. You guys say?
Wow.
Be one whole community.
Pretty cool.
I feel like y'all would benefit the kids also, because like, look, wow, all the adults are working together, we should work together too.
I like that idea. Anyone else?
10 years from now. Okay. Okay. So we're going to end, but I'd like to end with first thanking you guys for participating in this. I certainly enjoyed it. And one of the things we need to hear from you is, would you like more opportunities where you as young people be given a forum to really discuss your opinions and give some suggestions about not just education, but just life in general in terms of your your family experiences, your school experiences, community experiences. Do you like this particular form, and would you like to do it again?
Yeah, I would, because I feel like when certain things like this happen, is really great, because I feel like we could be a voice for our school, because everybody, like, stuff gets put in place and it affects the kids, but nobody asks the kids how they feel about how they're being affected. So I feel like this is like a great thing.
Okay. You, ma'am?
Yeah, to add on to that, I think that even talking about our personal experiences is good, because somebody else could be going through the exact same thing but wouldn't know how to express that or talk about it. So when they hear somebody else saying it, they're like, oh, this is how I can help myself, or I want to now express myself to this person, that person, or put my own experience out into the world.
So I think you guys have wrapped it up. Again, thank you for participating in Let's Talk. And this night we talked about teens talking about education. Thank you to each of you, and you know we're going to call you again to come and do another session. Agreed?
Agreed.
All right. Thank you.